Started everything already, so forever. Should be getting ready to switch over. Any second.
Partnership. I would like to say it's, I mean, if they.
I don't look at my second, I don't look at my minute. Flip over there, but
At 8.
that's right. I'm gonna watch it. I got my wife there. I just try to keep her in front of me all the time.
Oh, she's not hearing about
No, right here. I got it right here.
it. Tells you to behave.
She's always watching over me no matter where I'm at, what I'm doing. She's right here. But I could do worse. I'll assure you of that.
Sure.
I must have done around and said,
There we go. Ready?
Yeah.
Please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. And we'll do roll call.
Mr. Clausen.
Here.
Mr. Cox.
Here.
Mr. Graven. Here. Mr. Phipps.
Here.
Mayor Hall.
Here. Consent agenda. Items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine in nature and will not be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion of these items will occur unless a council member requests the item to be removed from the consent agenda. If an item is removed from the consent agenda, it will be considered elsewhere on the agenda for this meeting. Prior to asking for a motion to approve the consent agenda, the mayor will ask if anyone desires to remove an item from the consent agenda for public discussion. Would anybody like to remove an item from the consent agenda? Hearing none, I move that we approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March the 4th, 2025, the bills and payroll for the first half of March 2025, and the mayor's expenses for the ILCMA training. Do I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Commissioner Cox, and roll call.
Mr. Clausen.
Yes.
Mr. Cox.
Yes.
Mr. Graven. Yes. Mr. Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. Presentations, petitions, and communications. This portion of the city council meeting is reserved for persons who desire to address the council. The Illinois Open Meetings Act mandates that the city council may not take action on comments received on matters that have not been identified on this agenda. But the council may direct staff to address the topic or refer the matter for action on the agenda for another meeting. Persons addressing the council are requested to limit their presentations to 3 minutes and to avoid repetitious comments. We will also ask you to state your name and address for the record, as well as stand when speaking. I know we have a couple people that are going to talk about a specific item and a motion, so we're going to allow them to do that at the time of the motion. Anybody else like to address the council?
Just reminded that none was added, sorry.
Okay, thank you very much. And what was your name?
Sorry.
Ed Dowden, you work for the Max Chamber, okay. All right, that's good. And you live in Lane Acres, right? Okay, good. All right, so, all right, anybody else have any comments?
I have comments, but I'm gonna wait till you're over.
Well, you can't do that. So what you do need to do is come up to the mic, because we will have people on there. And so we want your name and where you're from. You want to put yeah, pull that down. There you go.
Jack, can you hear me?
3 minutes. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
That microphone is for the
Can you
people
hear?
line.
Yeah, we can hear you right here.
The weather looks like a little laryngitis going on, but my name is Delinda Sellers. I'm 1812 Western Avenue is my address. And I'm not sure exactly what this meeting's about, but I have concerns about the city. My grandpa was Leslie Bub Young, Parker Young, and Mary and Bertha Catherine Niemeyer was my grandma. I'm from here. I have been gone a long time. I'm back recently, and I've had some grave concerns in here for our city. I'm trying to learn how Grandpa the politician did it. I wish I paid more attention. With that being said, I'm trying to get a feel of what's going on. Some areas superb done, some areas not so superbly done, but I don't think it has these people here as a problem at all. So to make a difference, I have to learn the ropes up here. Now, this meeting is considered city council. What? Can you help me?
The purpose of the meeting?
Yes.
The purpose of the meeting is to approve various motions that come before the council. We get a chance to look at them all together. I run the meeting. We have a chance to report on department reports. We have executive sessions where we talk about certain matters. Really, all the official approvals
Well,
occurred at this meeting.
And benefit, I'm very gifted in that area, but places we need money, like either the fire department. I've been trying to talk to the police department, that purchase hall auditorium over there. I've got some really good benefit ideas that I'd like to be heard to somebody, but nobody seems to want to hear them. But they'll raise money that get some Chevys up in the police station if the police get it. If our firemen get it, it'll raise money for children, for equipment and stuff, but I don't know who to talk to, and I'm here to
So-
find out who do I see.
So you're primarily interested in talking to someone.
And raising funds for our city. Because we need, the policemen need more help. They just need it. And there's funds to be had. There's lots of money, okay? But it's not the same about the money. Okay, I've got some grand ideas. If they spill out here, they spill anywhere, they'll sell. And they'll bring in the business and they'll bring in the money. But it's to improve our city.
I'll talk to you after the meeting.
Would you?
Okay, all right.
We done just for somewhere.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yep. Okay, anybody else like to talk? Okay, so we're going to go into the new business. You'll be at the second, third on, you want to trust the council, right?
I don't know. Don't know yet.
You don't know yet? Okay, so, all right, so that's fine. But you're interested in the, I
Two
think,
and three.
short-term, but we'll get to that area, then we'll see what you need. New business, let's see, I guess I get to start that. I move that we adopt ordinance number 2025-5487, approving and causing publication of the official zoning map of the city of Mattoon, Illinois. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps, and any comments on that?
This is something we got to do every year. So any of the changes that were made from last year, any new subdivisions, any zoning changes are reflected in the map. Alex, code enforcement, look at that with the help of the city clerk's office, pulling out all the different ordinances throughout the year. Coles County Regional Planning updates the map for us. Again, Alex looks at it and we've made sure everything was on there. So it's really just an official approval that we have to do every year.
Okay. Okay, any other comments or questions? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Craven? Yes. Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. Okay, I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-5488, amending the chapter 159 zoning code of the municipal code to establish and regulate short-term rentals and to modify hotel motel structures within section 159.04, 159.46, 159.55, 136.45, 136.46, 136.47, 136.48, 136.49, 136.50 of the municipal code. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps? And, okay,
Those code numbers were actually, just
36.
36.
did I also,
You
Yeah.
said 136. I'm just.
on which one? Oh,
having it
136. Yeah,
Clarified for the,
Okay.
for the recording.
good point. Thank you.
Okay.
And, okay, now, comments on this, and then maybe that'll generate some questions.
Alex, you want to give the Cliff Notes?
Yep. Yeah, so essentially, with Emerald Acres coming in, we've received a bunch of zoning requests for short-term rentals. And prior to drafting this ordinance, we really haven't had a way to categorize them outside of a special use for a boarding or lodging house, which doesn't really fit the actual intended use of a short-term rental. A boarding or lodging house is more so like a hostel. And so this just gives us a clear definition. Basically, we created a 4-tiered system. It was actually modeled off of the city of Austin, Texas's ordinance. And so effectively, we have 4 different systems. So you have an owner occupant that wants to rent out a portion of their home or maybe a, kind of backyard ADU type situation. They can still apply for a special use. And just to kind of preface all of this, every single one of these requires a special use, requires you to put a sign in your yard, requires input from the neighborhood, or at least has the potential for that input. And so again, the first tier is really just owner occupants. There's no limitation to how many of those could be within the city limits. Tier 2 is for essentially a single family home that is owned by an investor. They're not living there. And effectively to preserve our housing stock, given the housing shortage in Mattoon, we've limited that to be about 1 tier 2 one tier 2 rental for every 1,200 linear feet in a radius from that property line. So, we're not going to have these popping up everywhere in town, but they would have the potential to still exist within the city limits to meet the demand from the sports complex. From there, you have a tier 3, which is effectively like a multifamily unit. So the multifamily unit is asking for that. As long as they don't go over 50% of their units, they're able to do that without limitation as to, their location, as long as they're getting a special use. And then tier 4 creates it for employer-based short-term rentals, like traveling nurses, things like that. And so that one does not collect hotel motel taxes. All the other ones will collect hotel motel taxes. And there is no limitation to how many employer short-term rentals there could be, because that's obviously a huge benefit for our workforce. That is really the 10,000-foot level of the whole thing. All of these also require that a property manager is located within a 40-mile distance from the corporate limits of the city. It doesn't mean that, the owner could not be out of state. They can be, but they have to have a locally based property manager as part of the special use approval, which is something that we can attach to the conditions because it's a special use permit. But yeah, happy to take any questions.
You have a question, Alex, regarding the sales tax or the hotel motel tax. Is it possible that any of these would be within the business district where, like the hotels that are, they're 5% and then the 1% business district? So you're saying 5%, but if they're in the area within that business district, is there any where we need to add that extra 1%?
So I don't think there's any right now that we're aware of, but if they would, and they're in the business district, yeah, it would be added on to it.
So does that need to be defined in here? Because it says a tax in the amount of 5% on gross rental receipts is hereby imposed, et cetera, on that 6.45.
If you'd like to add that, I think we should amend that just to add an X percentage. That's
I just want to make sure that everybody's on a level playing field.
absolutely.
Right. No. Yeah, that would be an amendment we need to make.
So we will change that. We agree to.
Yeah, we'll have to amend that. If there's any other discussion first.
Okay.
Alex, yeah, a question, just to clarify. Tier 1, if I have my house, I'm going out of state for a month, I can do a short-term rental on that Airbnb
Yeah,
with no issue. My neighbor can do the same thing.
assuming you have your special use.
Right. And then is that special use permit good in perpetuity?
It's like until you sell your home.
Stays
Effectively,
with
once
you?
ownership changes, the only special use we have that runs with the land is the ADUs.
Okay.
So they only have to make application one time
Yes.
unless it changes ownership.
And the way how we're going to track that, whenever people are applying, is we're going to look at the parcel on the county GIS, and if they have the owner occupant exemption on there, then we're going to classify that as a tier 1. If they don't have that on there, then, they're on paper, not an owner occupant.
And I can tell you, Alex, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're owner occupied because a renter can have an owner occupied on a rental property.
Okay, then I would say
So-
that we probably
Check the water bill.
check the water bill at that point. That's probably the better route then.
Because you can have that. That brings up a question. So if I just want to rent out a room or, still be there, like Dave said, only still be there, is that required a special use under that tier 1? Is that,
Oh, yeah, every way you have to have a special use. Absolutely.
okay, so even if I'm still in the home and just want to rent out like
Mhm.
half my house?
Yeah, it's just, there's no limitation to where those could be in the community. We don't restrict it based upon the zoning classification of the property. But yeah, as long as you get your special use, then that's fine.
Okay.
So you said you had a lot of people inquire about this. Is the 1,200-foot limitation, do you think that will squash some of those?
I do believe that it will control the influx of the development of those in our community. And I think it's smart of us to be prudent on that, just because if we allow these to just happen anywhere in the community, we don't have that limitation. We're taking up housing stock for corporate executives because, you know, the Airbnbs are nice properties. We're taking up housing for workforce. And I think that if it becomes a large issue and, you know, we have citizens coming in here all the time saying, hey, we absolutely need to have this and have more of them in our community, then we can modify the ordinance in the future. But I think maybe for the next year or two, we should assess where it's at.
Alex, quick question. I don't know how relevant this is, but if somebody uses their home for one of the 4 tiers, there are parking restrictions that apply with it. So if you have a travel team from South Carolina that's going to stay there and they've got 8 vehicles or something, there are restrictions in other areas as well.
Yep, all of these have to adhere to the same parking requirements. So you have to have essentially, I'd have to look it up.
That's
in our
okay.
Parking tables, but the parking identifier is 29, which is effectively per bed. You know, if you have a person in there, every single room needs to have a parking space, say if you're going to rent out each room. So if you're just renting out one house, and you know, you're intending there to be maybe 2 bedrooms there, you got like your 2 parking spaces.
Thank you.
Does this happen to apply to a family member? Let's say my son wants to come home and I'm saying that's fine, but I'm going to charge you $100 a month. Seriously.
I think that's going to be a conversation between you and your son.
And the IRS.
Yeah.
The rental income.
No, I would say largely it's more so you're operating this as a business. So if you look at the definitions for how we define a property owner, it's pretty broad, but it basically says it could be an individual, a business partnership, or an LLC. If you really want to add an amendment to that, you could say to the short-term rentals, it's a rental of a residential unit conducted for business purposes. If you wanted to get around that, but
I mean, I can,
If you're not advertising it out there on an Airbnb or.
right, okay, yeah. I'm sure they would be doing that in that case.
Yeah, they're not gonna, we're not gonna know, so I mean.
It's for sponsorship. For sponsorship. Sometimes I do, don't have a dad in the city, somebody with some experience like me, and they have a chance to make something.
yeah, we could talk about that after the meeting, actually.
Okay. Any other questions on this particular one? Okay, go ahead. Come up and say who you are.
Eric Anderson, 3005 Prairie. And just, Marcy and I and my wife, very new to this process. Matter of fact, Alex, I called earlier.
I called you back.
Yeah. So just a couple of questions as we're trying to explore this. First one is, it sounds like there's a difference with the hotel motel tax for zone 4.
Yeah.
So let me ask, what happens if somebody wants to operate in 2 different fashions? What if I want to do a short-term rental for just, in my case, it's a house next door to the house that we will end up having to buy because it shares a driveway. So for us, a short-term rental at least makes sense for us right now. Because we would have control over that house during holidays and family may come into town. But if we wanted to do to short-term rental through VRBO, Airbnb for some time period, and then also as a possible employer-based rental, how would that be?
So the employer-based rentals would have to be owned by the employer. So like, it would be like Sarah Bush and maybe their own.
Perfect. Parking restrictions, including street parking?
So that gets a little tricky. So technically, according to building code, we just have to provide those spaces. And then when you get over to zoning, it varies a little bit. But as long as you follow the parking identifier on there, I think you could probably have one off-street space. But the main thing is that, you know, we would definitely prefer that it's on the property itself, maybe the alley or off the alley.
No alley, no.
Yeah, gotcha.
So,
You did mention there was a driveway.
It's a shared driveway, which is part of the challenge.
Yeah.
Because we have cars that park, and block. So this has been both homes in the family for years. So,
Yeah. That would be.
that issue has not been an issue for a very long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say as you go through that process and apply for the special use, I think we're gonna, hold your hand, walk you through that whole thing. And Steve said, and the building inspector, myself, definitely can help you determine where that needs to be. So you need that prior to getting your special use when you apply.
You said several, and I'm not sure in what capacity people have already been doing this in the city. But if we've got a 1,200-foot radius, we may have somebody in that radius already.
So the main piece of advice I would give given that is, assuming this passes tonight, come in tomorrow, apply for your special use. So we're going to have an amnesty period where basically folks that are already operating these throughout the city, they can come in and be issued a special use permit retroactively. They would have had to have operated before 2025. And then at that point, they're essentially grandfathered in. But if we have an application from you on hand prior to folks filling that out, then we're going to consider you moving ahead in that process.
So here's the next challenge. Gotcha. Next challenge we have is we are not owners of this house yet.
Okay.
Mother-in-law is working through Medicaid spend down. And so we are not at the point that she's signed off on the house yet. I anticipate that coming soon. But if she would be the applicant, then it's not, at least in the conversation we had already, it would not be transferable. Yeah. So then we would be, we're going to be able to close on the home.
Yeah, that's a good comment. Yeah.
Power of attorney.
For healthcare,
For healthcare, we've got, we would love.
If she got the special use now, it would lock in that 1,200 square feet that, when she gave that up and sold the property, you would be probably the first one applying.
Yeah.
So there's always that chance. Yeah, the window would be small.
So I think given both of that, I'd probably recommend, and again, I think we definitely need to connect.
Sure.
But I would recommend that you apply for the special use and then we get that implemented. And then should that ownership transfer happen, then we can have you reapply because technically you would already have that radius there.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
It's a good question.
No, good question.
Yeah.
Good.
And all of this stuff is very complicated. There's no clear cut answers, right? And so it's a lot of gray instead of black and white.
Thank you. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Erica Marcy.
Any other questions?
short-term rental, you pair it up with transitional housing, help a person get to their final goals there next year. There's a big TRANCS. Now I know Ms. Darcy's not here, but keep that in mind. Works with the transitional housing, short-term rental.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions anybody has? Any comments? Roll call. Oh,
Do you want to make a motion, then
Oh,
amendment?
I would make a motion to adjust that 36.5 or 45, sorry, 36.45 to some verbiage that would include if it's located within a
Right.
business district, that it would add that 1% tax.
It's 5%, but if it's in a business district, it's 6.
6.
Yeah.
Yes.
okay. Any other ones you want to change? Okay. Do we need to?
We have a motion.
Okay.
Need a second on
Second.
Oh, second amendment.
It's my second on the amendment. Okay.
Mr.
Yeah,
Phipps.
that's fine. Commissioner Phipps and, yeah,
So I need a roll
okay, just roll call.
call on the amendment.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay, Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps?
Yes.
And Mayor Hall?
Yes. Now we got to go back
Yep.
and
Did we have a
That's-
second on the, Yeah, we did have a second.
We have
So
a second.
So we need to vote on.
So this is on the amended motion.
Yeah,
Are you ready?
ready.
Commissioner Cox,
Yes.
Commissioner Raven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. All right. Part two, I think. I move we adopt resolution number 2025-3296, establishing a short-term rental amnesty period from March 18th, 2025 to June 24th, 2025, to allow time for operators to comply. Can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps? And any questions, comments on this one?
Yeah, effectively, it's just an amnesty period for existing folks, so.
And that just grandfathers them in.
Yep.
Once that
To
happens.
come in and
Yep.
apply.
Yeah, they have to come in, fill this out, and then just agree to, that they're going to follow the new defense.
What happens if you have, what if you have two of them within 1,200 feet of each other?
They're going to be grandfathered.
Okay.
Any other questions? Roll call?
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. I move to adopt ordinance number 2025-5489, amending chapter 160 signs of the municipal code to establish and regulate digital display signs within section 160.03, 160.06, 160.09, or 10610, and chapter 159 zoning section 159.46. And can I have a second on that motion?
I'll second it, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps. And then, okay, you're going to, you got this one?
So we've been approached it was literally my first day, almost 2.5 years ago, about digital display signs in our community. And currently, you can only go up to 100 square feet for an off-premise sign. What we mean by off-premise sign is effectively just somebody has a sign they're advertising for something that isn't on that property, so a billboard, for example. And so, really, this also passed the Planning Commission meeting unanimously. And the idea is that we set up into the 6 main entrances to town, these districts. You can only have 2 per district, given how they're sized. 1 on each side of the road for every 5,000 feet. All of these squares are less than 5,000 linear feet. And so effectively, except for the one on 57. And so effectively, it just opens up the door for that. It has to be placed on city-owned property, which makes it harder to place these in the community. Somebody would have to put a substantial investment on city property. And yeah, it just really allows that. It also mandates that an existing sign in town, if the company has one, has an existing billboard of any kind, at least one of them must be taken down in order for them to receive this special use approval. And again, we're able to do that because special uses are like they have conditions attached to them. But that's pretty much the gist of it. You can go up to 400 square feet, 40 by 10. And then on top of that, we learned a lot about our sign ordinance through this. So there might be some other changes coming through there as well. But yeah, that's effectively the ordinance.
Alex, were any of the IDOT requirements incorporated in this?
Yep. Yeah, so we have a line in there that says they have to follow federal and state law. So if they aren't getting those permits, then they're going to have problems with the state.
And the state's pretty strict on that, so.
Figured it.
Any other comments, questions for that one? Okay, roll call.
Commissioner Clausen.
Yes.
Commissioner Cox.
Yes.
Commissioner Raven.
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps.
Yes.
Mayor Hall.
Yes. I move that we adopt special ordinance number 2025-1496, approving the replat of Lot 8 of the Emerald Acres subdivision. Petitioner AJM LLC. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps? And any,
This is just, yeah, lot 8 was originally platted as a larger lot. It's one that's gonna have a hotel on it. They don't need the whole size of lot 8, so they're keeping off a half an acre off of that lot, which will be 8A and 8B. So just, yeah, that opens up another lot for a smaller business to be on the corner, so.
Okay. Any other questions? Roll call.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mr. Raven? Yes. Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Motion to adopt special ordinance number 2025-1947, ratifying the promotion and employment agreement of Douglas Holman to Assistant Public Works Director position with an annual salary of $91,520 and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to sign the agreement.
Second on that motion,
I'll second it, Mayor.
Commissioner Phipps. And any comments on that one?
Well, I'll just say that Doug's been with us 5 years, and he's been recently the superintendent of the wastewater plant, moved up through the organization to that position, and he brings a lot of water, wastewater experience into the position, which I think will complement us and myself really well. So looking forward to working with him even closer than what we have been. So I think it's going to be a good move for us.
Okay. Did he prepare any speeches or anything?
I don't know if he did or not. He's secretary.
I didn't know.
It is a requirement.
How come you're all the way back in the?
Look, we pick on the police and the fire. You're not going to say anything? Okay. All right. Good move.
Yes.
All right. Roll call.
Mr. Raven?
Yes.
Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. I move we approve council decision request 2025-2578, authorizing the purchase of one 2025 Ford Explorer Police Interceptor Squad Car in the amount of $49,544 from Pilsen Auto Center. And can I have a second to that motion?
Second, Mayor.
Commissioner Clausen, and let's see.
This is just coming out of the video gaming funds of this year. Help the budget for next year. We're going and purchasing out of the video game funds this year. And, yeah, we'll,
It's a state bid.
yeah, state bid price. So we'll, as we get it, we'll start working on that. Is that going to be a K9 replacement?
It is.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Okay, we're ready for roll call.
Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mr. Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Abstain.
Commissioner Raven?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes.
Motion to approve council decision request 2025-2579, awarding the bid in the amount of $600,000 to FabTech WWS for the repairs and upgrades to clarifiers number 3 and number 4 at the wastewater treatment plant.
And can I have a second to that motion?
I'll second.
Commissioner Cox, and comments, anybody?
Doug, any comments on this?
Both these clarifiers installed back in early 2000s. Just time to maintenance on them to improve them and keep them functioning. They're a major part of the process out there, and don't foresee them getting taken out anytime soon. So they're a vital portion for the water.
And we budgeted 650,000 for those repairs, so came in under budget, so.
Is that out of capital improvements?
Out of sewer fund.
Sewer
Yeah,
fund.
Sewer fund improvements, yeah.
So, okay, very good. Any other comments or questions? Roll call.
Clausen?
Yes.
Mr. Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Raven?
Yes.
Mr. Phipps?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. Department report starting, excuse me, starting with City Administrator Kyle Gill.
Really just been finishing up
Thank you.
budgets, mainly working on the budget presentation, putting together some additional information to share with the council members as well. Explaining some of the stuff that's in the budget. I've been working with Alex on economic development. We've had several housing meetings, housing developers, and working with Rhonda Coles together. We had some good meetings actually this afternoon. So things is pretty much busy, but everyday items more than anything. So
Any questions for Kyle? City Attorney, Dan Jones.
Business as usual for me, not much litigation front, so happy to answer questions about it.
Okay, anybody? City Clerk, Susan, Brian?
Same here, business as usual for the most part with the personnel, health and property casualty insurance. And just wanted to remind everybody who has one to return their statements of economic interest to either the county or to the clerk's office, and we'll get those sent over.
All right, Finance, Beth, right?
General fund, 5 months. Revenue of 22.37 million, expenditures of 21.85, and that surplus of 5,000 cents. I would note that the other expenditures are significantly more than the budget. More than prior year, a lot of the ARPA spending has gone through that line item in grants. And for purpose of the audit, I will be recommending some of the deferred revenue. Even in the past. Deferred and will be recognized this year, so in the end, the surplus is going to be rather significantly more than what's shown here. The cash position at the end of February, it's going to go out of 27 million versus 25.8 million prior. Major sources of revenue, year-over-year is down 6,000, 8,000 cents. Very close, which is good. And restricted casualty general fund. Today it's 12.1 million. Last meeting it was 11.3. The meeting prior it was just under 12. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the budget, and that will be posted on the website today.
Okay. In black on budget art still? Are we in the black still on the budget?
Yes, sir.
That's a good thing. Okay, so anybody else have any questions? Let's see, it's Public Works, Dave Clark.
We have a lot of general maintenance going on, the water plant, wastewater plant, and the streets, clean up from the winter, street sweeping, trimming trees, cutting trees, you name it, they're out there than that. We do, thank you very much for approving the clarifier bid. We'll get that out to them tomorrow and hopefully get them started soon. The pump project, which we awarded last year, most of the equipment now is in. Sounds like we're missing one valve or something like that. So hopefully that'll get started real soon also. You'll notice there's a lot of cost share projects getting started around town. As you drive around, you'll see quite a few of those getting going again now. Sanitary sewer, that's all hooked up, as I mentioned, I think last time, but they'll be here tomorrow to do the punch list on that, start working on that. Our cleanup day, it'll be April the 12th. Get the advertisements out this week. We'll also have dumpsters 2 weeks in advance of that, so people can go out there during the day and use those dumpsters. Hopefully that'll help a little bit of the crowd on that day. And then as far as our iWorks thing, we got that going this week. Got 10 inquiries already. Most of them, nothing really serious, but good things to know. People are seeing things and reporting them, and we'll get on. So we got.
Any questions for Dave? All right, Fire Chief Jeff Hildross.
Thank you, Mayor. Congratulations on your promotion. Well deserved. Since our last meeting, you guys answered 173 calls for service. Inspectors did 4 inspections. They did their EMS training. And then the new owner
the grant, Castle owns all of that. He came in and asked if we could use it for training, so the guys last week went down there and got some pretty good training and helping him reduce the rubble. So, other than that, it's been pretty much business as usual. So, somebody else.
Any questions from council? Okay, Police Chief Sam Gaines.
Guys, continue to do a good job, everyone's well. Coming out warmer weather, we just had calls coming up, 979 calls for service in the last 2 weeks, 54 requests. Like I said, if you do a good job, thank you for the car again. That's all I got.
Any questions for Sam? Okay, Arts and Tourism, Angelia, forget.
We're working on buttoning up light works for this year. Getting ready, we purchased or in the process of purchasing 90 displays for the upcoming year. In addition to that, we got some plans for Heritage Park we're still ironing out to add more lights to that during the holiday, potentially in a longer season. And we have made plans to put some trees, some lighted trees in Wolf Pocket Park so that it will kind of connect all of the downtown activities and lights. We're working on putting something in the dog park that is photographable. Best way to say that, I think. Fireworks and Bagel Fest, both working on those things. In addition, we have 6 summer events planned in Heritage Park this year, 4 bagel bites and 2 artisan markets. So it'll run from April to September.
Okay. Any questions for Angelia? Anybody? Community Development, Alex?
So we got 3 demos coming out for bid for May. And then we have 2 cleanups this week and next week. And then moving on from there, got some updates from Steve and Gary. Panda is going to be opening on April 7th. Pretty exciting. Panda Express. And the Texas Warehouse construction will begin on April 14th. And Hampton Inn, just went through that replat. So other than that, they've been approved pending some of the revised drawings for their sprinkler system and some water. And last thing, we had a very, very productive housing and childcare discussion with the school district and a couple of other partners. And recently we had been approached by a large housing developer for infill and new subdivisions. We can't really go into any more detail than that, but it's very exciting.
Very good. Very good. That makes everybody interested. You may have questions. I noticed, Jim, your eyes kind of lit up when you mentioned
Every day, when's Panda Express opening? So I've got an answer.
Yeah.
Can't talk about anything else, but she wants to know that.
Okay, I just checking on that. All right, comments from the council. Commissioner Graven?
Congratulations on your promotion. And that's all I got.
Okay. Any questions? Commissioner Cox?
I would echo that. Congratulations. And appreciate everything you folks do out there. So, and with that, that's all I have this evening. Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Commissioner Phipps?
Congrats, Doug. And Alex, appreciate all your work on the short-term lease situation. Very nice.
And Commissioner Clausen?
Same thing again. Welcome. Congratulations, Doug. Thank you again, Alex. The OSLAD grant, everybody that we got last year for $600,000 on March 31st. That playground equipment will, weather permitting, be installed at the 2 campgrounds in the beach area. So hopefully we get some good weather and the old unsafe equipment will be out. So we'll have some really good stuff for the 2 campgrounds on the beach. Dodge Grove Cemetery this week, we've asked through the press release through the city to have people come out and kind of get stuff away from the markers, anything that interferes with mowing. And then next week, the staff will take care of the rest of that. So that's going as well. So that's all I got, Mayor.
Okay, as far as, I have to congratulate Doug. Everybody else did. I didn't be left out of this. So congratulations, Doug. And I don't really have anything to report. It's been busy, but things that we've been working on together. So I don't really have, anybody have any questions for me offhand? Okay, but we're gonna, at this point, we're gonna recess to closed session. And we're not taking any action when we get back. So anybody wants to leave, that's fine. You can stay in here as closed. But, so I move we recess to closed session pursuant to Illinois Open Meetings Act for the purpose of the discussion of the appointment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the city or legal counsel for the city under 5 CS 120 2C1. Can I have a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay. We can,
Commissioner Cox?
Yes.
Commissioner Graven?
Yes.
Commissioner Phipps?
yes.
Commissioner Clausen?
Yes.
Mayor Hall?
Yes. Okay.
At this time, I will
Go to closed
pause
session.
and mute until they get back.